Welcome back to That's Football. My name is Gart Moldridge. I can't even say my own name. Welcome back. I'm Gart Moldridge. We're back here to talk transfers on with Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio, how are you?
All good. Thank you. All fine.
Time is money, so let's get straight into it. It's business time. We're starting with David Raya, been heavily linked with Arsenal. What's the latest with that situation?
I think it's a matter of time now. There are contacts even today between Arsenal and Brentford for David Raya. They are discussing the conditions of the deal. They had an opening bid around £20 million plus 3 add-ons rejected by Brentford, but keep going with the negotiation. So I think it's a matter of time also because Arsenal gave the green light to Matt Turner to join Nottingham Forest on permanent transfer, and it means that they are very confident to get the David Raya deal done. So I think it's just a matter of hours probably to see the green light from Brentford and see David Raya to become a new Arsenal player.
Just on that as well, because it also impacts Dean Henderson, obviously heavily linked to Nottingham Forest, having been there on loan last season. What's the latest with him and where do you think he'll end up?
I think it's still open. The idea of Nottingham Forest is not to go for both goalkeepers in the same moment. So now they want to close the Matt Turner deal, and then later in the window, they will consider the possibility to bring in also Dean Henderson. They have no agreement with Man United. That's why the negotiation is going slow. But I think that Dean Henderson remains a target for Nottingham Forest and remains an opportunity for the final weeks of the window. So now the focus is on Matt Turner, and then we will see later in the window for Dean Henderson.
Let's just stick on the United front because that's what Mark would want me to do. Amrabat, what's the latest with him going to Manchester United? Obviously, it's been going on for a while now.
Yeah, it's basically always the same. We have to wait for Man United to sell Fred, and this is something that will happen. I think it could be this week or this next week, but it's going to happen very soon because Man United and Fred agents are advancing in conversations with some clubs. So it's about the player deciding his favorite option. I think it's not going to be Galatasaray. I think it's going to be another club. But in any case, the discussions for Fred to leave Manchester United are very advanced. And the same with Donny van de Beek. For Van de Beek could be a loan with buy option, so they are still discussing the formula of the deal with Real Sociedad, but the player wants to go there, so I think there is a very good chance for Real Sociedad to proceed with Donny van de Beek deal. And then right after, for Man United, it's going to be time to attack the defensive midfielder situation, and Sofian Amrabat is the top target there. He already gave the green light to Man United, but of course they have to still agree on personal terms because they still have to discuss the details of the contract. So it was like a conversation with Sofian Amrabat environment telling Man United, okay, we would be happy to join you, but they still have to discuss the contract and they still have to discuss between clubs because there is still no official bid from Man United to Fiorentina. So step by step, now it's time to sell players, and then for Sofian Amrabat is going to be the moment of negotiations between United and Fiorentina.
Another player that's been linked probably for about 3 years on his way out now is Harry Maguire. Got booed at the weekend. It's not the best times for him at the moment. Any sort of advances on that?
Yeah, I think is normal for Harry Maguire at the moment. We know very well that it's a possibility for him to leave Manchester United, so it remains open till the end of the transfer window. West Ham had a bid rejected for £20 million, but it's also very true that at the moment Man United are not going to accept 20 or 25, and I think this is not enough to convince the club because the potential replacement, from what I'm told, could be Jean-Claire Todibo, is one of the players they have in the list of Man United, but it's an expensive centre-back. That's why, for example, Juventus last week approached Nice and then they left the race immediately because they don't want to spend something around 45 million euros for Todibo. It's considered too expensive. So that's why also Man United know very well that to let Harry Maguire go, they need an important proposal. And at the moment, the only official proposal was £20 million from West Ham, rejected. So let's see what kind of bids will arrive in the next weeks. I think Maguire as well, McTominay and also Anthony Martial, they are in the same position. They are players who could stay at Man United because they're not out of the project. Erik ten Hag is prepared to keep them and to consider them part of the rotation. Otherwise, in case they receive good proposals, Man United are open to let them go. So it's on other clubs now, but at the moment it remains the same situation.
You mentioned 25 million there for Maguire. 25 million is the magic number in this Spurs Bayern Munich deal. It's supposed to be the difference between the valuation between the two clubs. Just as we came on air, the bid's been rejected by Tottenham. It's supposed to be that bid apart. Where are we going with this? It's just, I mean, I think we'll be here till maybe next year, the year after. It's just ongoing, isn't it?
Now it's important to understand what happens today internally at Bayer, because Bayer will have an internal meeting with all the members of the board. Thomas Tuchel will also be involved in the discussion, and they have to decide whether they want to return for Harry Kane, to try again, to contact Daniel Levy again, and to approach Tottenham with a new proposal, or if they want to go on different targets. The idea of Bayern was to close the deal last Friday. So for Bayern, the deadline of the deal was last Friday, not this Friday. Then Daniel Levy decided not to answer. We know that Daniel Levy is probably among the best negotiators in the world, and so it's part of his strategy to keep going like this. But at the moment, it's Bayern who have to decide whether they want to continue in this Harry Kane deal negotiation or if they want to go for different striker. So there is going to be an internal discussion today, and I think we'll have a reaction on the Bayern side very soon, because they were already very nervous with the situation on Friday. They wanted an answer by Friday night. It didn't happen, and so now let's see how the conversation internally at Bayern will go.
Just on that as well, do you think there is reports that Harry Kane sort of wants to get it done before the start of the Premier League season, and if it's not, he'll just stay at Spurs? Is there any truth in that?
I think in this deal, there are no concrete deadlines. The real deadline was last Friday, but as you can see, Daniel Levy decided not to accept any deadline from Bayern. So I think it's something that we have to keep open until the end, unless the player is going to say, okay, I'm prepared to stay, as he did when Manchester City wanted him 2 years ago. So at the moment, I don't have an indication of clear days when the deal will be over. I think today is an important day to see the reaction from Bayern, because the real point could be Bayern saying, okay, we leave the negotiation. So I think it's more on Bayern now after Daniel Levy decision.
Yeah. Chelsea, we spoke a lot about midfielders in the time that's still ongoing. Bids for Tyler Adams, allegedly, and Caicedo being sort of kept cautious over the weekend at Brighton. But I just wanted to first touch on a number 9. Obviously, Nico Jackson's joined and Cuckoo's there. But where are we? Are they looking for another striker, or are they settled with what they've got?
So for strikers, I think they want a creative player. That's why they were keeping an eye, for example, on players like Olise, who remains in the list at Chelsea, but still no formal bid. I saw the reports last week about formal bids. I'm told that Chelsea have made no bids yet, also because they're well aware of the release clause into his contract, £35 million. So Chelsea and City are still interested in Olise, but they're still waiting to understand when the player will be available after the injury he picked up in June. So that's going to be a crucial point. And then in terms of center striker, of traditional number 9, Mauricio Pochettino this week has to make a decision on Dusan Vlahovic, because Juventus and Chelsea will be in contact again. There is a new round of talks already scheduled between the two clubs. It's going to be via intermediaries involved in this story. So Chelsea and Juventus will speak through intermediaries, and they will make a new decision on this story. Juventus want 40 million euros. They pretend 40 million euros and Romelu Lukaku to let Dusan Vlahovic join Chelsea. But they're still waiting for Chelsea to make a decision, Chelsea board and Mauricio Pochettino, whether they want Vlahovic or not. So that's going to be the crucial point of the story. They will speak again this week, and I think Dusan Vlahovic is now the most concrete option in terms of traditional striker for Chelsea.
And then, just a Tyler Adams bid. Obviously, do you know much around that? And where's that bid from? No bid yet.
No bid yet, but talks ongoing, because they approached the agents of the player last week. They will have new contacts this week on Tyler Adams' deal. It's a separate conversation than Caicedo, so it's not going to be, at least now, Caicedo or Tyler Adams. These are two separate negotiations that Chelsea are discussing. Of course, Caicedo is the priority. I keep saying that Caicedo is the priority, that they want Caicedo, and that Caicedo wants Chelsea, because if Caicedo was not playing for Brighton yesterday against Rayo Vallecano, is because he wants to move to Chelsea. So Caicedo wants to go there. Caicedo agreed terms with Chelsea in May, and now he's also pushing for his move, because not being with the squad was a strong message. I know that Brighton formal message is about the hamstring small injury, but I'm still told that it was a very clear message from Moises to tell the club almost, okay, I want to leave and I want to join Chelsea. So the focus remains on Caicedo, but Tyler Adams conversation is ongoing. There is a relegation clause into his contract, at least £20 million. Chelsea are well informed on that, and so I think this week it will be clear the situation of Tyler Adams too.
One we spoke about a couple of weeks ago was Mohamed Salah. There was real slow rumblings about that sort of a move to Saudi Arabia. His agents come out fighting today saying there's no way it's going to happen. But just with the sheer amount of money that's on offer out there, do you think that's something that we could, start getting bids and then it starts to develop from there?
We never know with the Saudi clubs, they show how powerful they are and how they can convince player and change their mind. But honestly, at the moment, all the indications I have on player side and also Liverpool side are in the same direction. It's almost the same that when they received some approaches in July for Luis Diaz. In that moment, Liverpool said in very clear way they have no intention to negotiate and they want to keep the player. Now the message from Liverpool side is exactly the same on Mo Salah. I saw reports of £60 million, something like that. I'm sure that Liverpool will not sell the player for that amount of money. They would ask for something crazy to make it happen, especially because it's August. It's not June or end of May or July when you can replace the player in an easy way or maybe try to find a solution. It's August. Mo Salah is crucial player for Jurgen Klopp, and so at the moment there is no intention at all to negotiate on Liverpool side, but also on player side he's really focused and committed. As his agent said, if he wanted to do that kind of deal for the money or in any case to try a different experience, he was not going to extend the contract. He extended the contract because he wants to win a game with Liverpool, and then in the future, who knows.
Just on the midfield of Liverpool, obviously Lavia's been rumbling on for a while now, but a bid went in over the weekend, or was it on Friday, for Andre for £21 million. He's missed the game at the weekend, sort of hyping this speculation up. What's the latest with Liverpool's midfield?
Yeah, we have to wait for Liverpool to prepare the third proposal for Romeo Lavia. The first one was £37 million rejected. The second was £42 million rejected. So it was a very clear way from the club, because Southampton want 50 million pounds. That's what they want for Romeo Lavia. And let me say that I've always been strong in the negotiations this summer, for example, with Newcastle. When they negotiated for Tino Livramento, many rumors were saying 24 million pounds. Southampton always said 40 package or nothing, and at the end they got 40 million pounds for Tino Livramento. So it's almost the same for Romeo Lavia. They want 50 million pounds. That's going to be the fee. Liverpool know that very well, so I expect them to bid again. I expect them to try again in the next days, this week. Let's see if they can reach an agreement, but for sure Romeo Lavia remains the main target for Liverpool in the midfield. Not the only one, but the main target now.
A midfielder that I've always liked, and seen a bit more of him because I'm a fan of a championship club, as you well know, Fabrizio. Sander Berge. He's been linked with He's been linked with Burnley. They put a bid in. Where's that come from? Because literally one of Sheffield United's best players going to a relegation rival. Just seems a bit odd for me.
Yeah, I'm told that the agreement is really, really, really close between Burnley and Sheffield United. Someone told me that he could undergo a medical test today. So let's see if it's going to be confirmed or not. But the negotiation is very advanced. Let's see. The conversation is ongoing between clubs and also on player side, of course, with his agents involved. But I think it's a very concrete possibility to see Sander Berge in a Burnley shirt. They're also working on Mohamed Darami deal with Ajax, but Reims today sent a bid for 16 million euros to hijack the move. So let's see what happens. But Burnley are very busy on the market because Vincent Kompany wants new signings as soon as possible.
Vincent Kompany interview coming to this channel tomorrow morning. One I wanted to speak about, I left it a bit down the running order because we spoke about him so much, but yeah. I just wanted to say, here we go, is Kylian Mbappe. Low move to the Premier League, signed, sealed and delivered, I assume?
At the moment, nothing has changed from Mbappe. I receive Mbappe questions like a million times per day, but guys, I think the only way to change this story is when and if Real Madrid will enter into it with concrete negotiations with PSG or with an official bid. At the moment, Real Madrid remain quiet on their position. Many people involved in the story think it's normal strategy at this point of the summer. So let's see, but it depends on Real Madrid. The Mbappe story is for Real Madrid this summer.
Wanted to close out with a few from Manchester City. Kevin De Bruyne, I don't know if it's just because of his age and because he's a top talent, has been linked with a move to Saudi Arabia. And another one was João Cancelo, obviously potential move there with his teammate Bernardo Silva to Barcelona.
So for Bernardo Silva, I expect him to extend the contract with Man City because the conversation between City and Bernardo is now ongoing. And Man City have sent a very clear formal communication to PSG 1 week ago and to Barcelona a few days ago, telling them that they have no intention to negotiate. So I'm sure that City will do their best to keep Bernardo and to extend Bernardo's contract. For João Cancelo, we still have to keep an eye on Barcelona. Barca want a loan deal with buy option. City want a permanent transfer. So it's still early stages of the negotiation, and it's not that easy also because of the salary. The salary of João Cancelo is a really important salary, and we know the financial situation of Barcelona is not that easy. So there is still a discussion ongoing between City, Barca, and the agent of the player, Mendes. And then the other name you asked me was? Kevin De Bruyne.
Kevin De Bruyne,
yeah. But look, from what I'm told, when they started from Saudi this campaign to bring as many players as possible and many stars as possible to Saudi football, one of the first names they had in the list was Kevin De Bruyne. So they always had this idea to bring Kevin De Bruyne there. But at the moment, it's something absolutely impossible because from City, but it's already since end of May, from City, from player side, they want to continue together. So at the moment, there is absolutely nothing concrete. It's just a dream they had at the end of May, but at the moment, nothing else.
Just finally, Tottenham put Jed Spence on the transfer list, apparently. Is that a case of having to get players out before they can bring players in?
I think, yes, it's normal. The player has to play. They signed him 1 year ago, and he didn't have any chance under Antonio Conte, then going on loan, but was not what he expected. So I think Tottenham want the boy to go on loan or maybe to leave on permanent transfer if they receive a very good proposal. So at the moment, it remains an open situation.
Right, you know how we end. You've seen the big speculation. Big John Ruddy been linked with a move to Luton Town. Birmingham City might be without a goalkeeper. We've got Tom Brady and Fabrizio. Where are we going? What's next? Any information, or shall I wait for deadline day?
You should wait for the deadline day. I will bring you something on deadline day. Trust me. You have my word. Tom Brady is not bad, by the way.
Not bad. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Exactly.
Fabrizio, thank you very much for your time. I'll let you get back to
you.
business, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, okay?
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, Fabrizio.
Ciao. Bye.
Right, Fabrizio Romano there. Massive thanks to him. I will get my Birmingham City news. Lots coming up on the channel this week. We have got an interview with Vincent Kompany. I went down to Burnley to speak to him before the Premier League season starts. Tough game against his former side, Manchester City, coming up. Then what else do we have? Mark was with Ben Foster today. We've got a little piece coming out later in the week. And maybe something a little bit different. So plenty happening on That's Football. Make sure you subscribe, drop a like, hit a comment if you want to find out some more transfer information. But now I'm off. So Gart Mulbridge out. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.